Though death is a fundamental part of life, it's something that modern society has mostly kept out of sight and out of mind. People pass away and are passed along. They're covered in sheets and kept out of sight until morticians beautify them for their final public reveal. Then the casket is closed, and that enclosure is literally stuffed into the ground and left impossible to access. Because of our increasing distance from the reality of death, though, people are left with plenty of curiosity, discussions, and speculation about what happens to the body after death. Does the body putrefy into a mass of watery substances, or does it desiccate like a mummy? What about mausoleums, or types of coffin wood, or a steel vault, or methods of embalming? Do the deceased's health and age factors matter? Could you transform into a bog person like Tallinn Man in Denmark if only you sink into a peat bog at the moment of death? Could your body in fact absorb some crazy fungus and become an honest-to-goodness antagonist of the living in the zombie apocalypse? The possibilities are enough to keep anyone up at night.
I mean, 1 minute you're in bed with a knockout gal or guy, and the next you're a compost heap. Well, doesn't that bother any of you? Because it scares the living piss out of me.
Well, we're here to put your mind at ease by removing the doubt and telling you exactly what terrible things are going to happen to your corpse once you inevitably die. There are a lot of factors that contribute to the state of a body. Certain biological facts, though, let us create a glass window in the lid of a casket to see what would happen to your body after 10 years, excluding certain exceptions like mummification, which involves removing the organs, and barring environmental factors. A wet environment will hasten decay, and a dry environment will slow decay, for example. The first thing to know is that the most dramatic decay happens within the first month, so the difference between a body at a month after death and 10 years isn't actually all that much. For bodies that aren't cremated, there's a specific pattern of events that typically happens in the United States. First, the recently deceased pass along to autopsy techs, who may or may not extract all of a person's organs. After this, a sutured body is passed along to an embalmer, who undoes the stitches, replaces the organs, and injects a mixture of embalming fluid called cavity fluid into various vessels. A sealant is placed over the sutures to prevent leakage, and sometimes plastic and powder are placed over the body as well. This is all before the mortician applies makeup, trims nails, and dresses the dead for burial. During this entire time, the body is undergoing decay that influences what it looks like 10 years down the line. Within 3 days after death, in fact, the body undergoes autolysis, when bodily enzymes eat their own cells. Blood pools in parts of the body closest to the ground. Rigor mortis occurs and skin gets loose. And the abdomen? Generally, it turns lime green. After initial autolysis, the body bloats, exudes foul-smelling gases, and releases fluid from the mouth and nose, which, according to National Geographic, may be the inspiration for ancient vampire myths. This occurs 3 to 5 days after death, and explains why wakes are typically held right away. Then the decay begins to slow down. From 8 days on, skin recedes from fingernails, bodies start to look less human and more like decaying corpses, and flesh begins to decompose, with cartilage, bones, and hair staying intact much longer than muscles and organs. With no coffin or embalming, a body in the ground in nature takes 8 to 10 years to totally decompose. If there is a coffin or embalming, the timeline is prolonged. Decay sets in sooner in a wooden casket rather than a metal casket, but sealing a casket can help keep out moisture and bacteria. On the other hand, this can cause caskets to pressurize as decomposing bodies release gas. According to trusted caskets, wooden caskets can distort in shape and even explode underground. As you can imagine, this definitely won't help preserve the body, unless it somehow launches the corpse straight into the afterlife. Coffins, just like people, eventually decay and return to the soil. Long before then, though, the bodies inside them will largely be gone. Ultimately, from 1 month on, we all more or less liquefy at a similar rate. Within 10 years, teeth, bones, and maybe skin or sinew are all that are left. You know what they say, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.